Somebody once said of Hector Camacho that he loves himself so much he wants to die in his own arms.
Here's the ring record for Camacho. 64 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw. The losses to Greg Haugen in 1991, later avenged. Julio Cesar Chavez in 92. Felix Trinidad in 94. He has never been knocked down or out. He's only had 32 KOs of his own, although in recent fights, his power output has actually been going up a little bit.
Con el negro, con el blanco y con el kilo. En este coral yo mando, no se metan con lo mío. No porque sean de frente, van a creer que yo me espanto de un bolívar. Cuando el sol vaya bajando, van a oírse 2, 3 gallos canturreando.
Oscar De La Hoya's record, 25 wins, no losses, no draws, 21 by knockout, 2 consecutive 12-round decisions earlier this year against Miguel Angel Gonzalez and then Bernell Whitaker. Then he fired the trainer, hired Emmanuel Stewart, brought back his old buddy Robert Alcazar, scored a 2nd-round knockout over David Kamau. So get ready now for East Los Angeles against Harlem, Mexico against Puerto Rico, Oscar De La Hoya against Hector Macho Camacho.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Caesar's Palace, the home of champions here in Las Vegas, Nevada, Top Rank Incorporated, Mike Acree Promotions, in association with your undisputed, undefeated King of Beers, Budweiser. This Bud's for you. Present the featured bout of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the WBC Welterweight Championship of the World. This bout is sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission and the World Boxing Council. Nevada Chairman Dr. Elias Ghanem, Executive Director Mark Raffner, Commissioners Nat Carasali, Lorenzo Fertitta, Luther Mack, and Dr. James Nave. Physicians at ringside, Dr. Flip Homansky, Dr. Robert Voy, Dr. James Wish Game, and Dr. Al Capana. Your timekeepers at the bell, keeping time and counting for the knockdown seconds, are Al Vicek and Mike Lachella. WBC President Jose Sulaiman. WBC Supervisor at ringside Mauricio Sulaiman. The 3 judges assigned to score this bout, scoring on a 10-point must system, are Chuck Jampa, Anek Hungtungkam, and John Keane. And when the bell rings, your referee in charge of the action, Richard Steele. And now, for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, from the site where legends are made, Caesar's Palace. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black, trimmed with red, and weighing in at exactly 147 pounds. His professional record stands at 64 victories, 32 by knockout with only 3 defeats and 1 draw. In almost 2 decades of competition, he has captured 5 world titles. He's undefeated in his last 21 consecutive bouts. And tonight, he comes to the ring ready to show the world that his time, Macho time, has arrived. Ladies and gentlemen, from Bayongan, Puerto Rico, here is the 5-time world champion, the challenger, Hector Macho Camacho. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing gold and weighing also exactly 147 pounds. In 1992, he captured Olympic gold. And now as a professional, with a perfect record of 25 victories, 21 knockouts without a loss, he has captured the hearts of boxing fans around the world. This to go with his 4 world titles. Tonight, he plans on victory to maintain his recognition as pound for pound one of the best there is in the world today. Ladies and gentlemen, from East LA, presenting the 4-time world champion and reigning undefeated WBC welterweight champion of the world, the Golden Boy, Oscar de la Hoya.
How you doing? I good looking?
Okay, I've gave both of you guys instruction in your dressing room. I'm cautioning again, obey my commands at all times. Shake hands, good luck.
Jim, we don't know if Hector Camacho is just famous for being famous these days, or whether he truly can fight on this highest level of the game. We're about to find out.
Looking up to the sky, Oscar de la Hoya. I think maybe he was paying some attention to his mother.
Yes, every single fight. During referee's instructions, De La Hoya looking skyward in honor of his mother Teresa. Or Cecilia, I should say. Passed away just before he won his gold medal at Barcelona in '92. Round 1 begins. De La Hoya trying to throw a left hook and missing with it. But he lands a left hook and momentarily stuns Camacho. De La Hoya saying to us, I want to attack from the get-go. I want to throw 100 punches around. And he's attacking with fury right now, if not necessarily with discipline.
But he hurt Camacho. Camacho, you could see, was stunned momentarily, and he's stunned again.
Camacho knocked down once in his career by Sergio Reyes back in Atlantic City, 1988.
If memory serves me correctly, Jim, that was also a first-round stunning punch that he wasn't ready for.
He went on to win the fight by decision. And here he's been stunned twice in the first round by left hooks, and part of the significance of that, De La Hoya was never really able to get the left hook going in his previous matchup with the southpaw against Whitaker. He's landed 2 of them here. Hard left hand to the body by De La Hoya. Camacho grabs and holds. The De La Hoya contingent in the crowd immediately booing. De La Hoya telling us, I think Camacho's going to grab me a lot from the outside. I've been working on uppercuts to take advantage of it.
De La Hoya is starting to swing his punches from the outside, and Camacho can live with that. But that straight right hand down the middle, no one can live with that by De La Hoya.
Well, let's see if De La Hoya goes to the straight right hand, which is the way most fighters attempt to attack the southpaw.
Step back.
So far, Oscar's been trying to use the left. Wide winging left hooks. Straight right hand lands for De La Hoya. He goes into a power punch explosion along the ropes.
Macho has been attacked and misused like this before. He's able to weather certain storms like this. But that De La Hoya has a right hand like I've never seen before in that weight class.
Really? So you admire his right that much?
Right, in that weight class, you just don't see them every day. It's not done with the shoulders. That's so a fighter watching your shoulders can still get hit because the power is in his hand.
Straight right hand up the middle, a little bit short. De La Hoya scratched out just enough against Whitaker, throwing right hands one at a time to earn the decision on the scorecards. Camacho taunting De La Hoya as round one comes to a close. I'm not sure what reason he felt he had to taunt him.
Breathe and relax. Breathe and relax, okay? You're okay. Breathe and relax. Gonna hold that ground. He's coming hard, but he's coming tall. And you're standing right up with him, too. We want to stay short, okay? If he wants to come hard, you've got to get down a little bit lower. Stay short. He'll run into the left hand. You're overextending it a little too much. His head is right here, and you're shooting it long, okay? Sit down.
Here we see how De La Hoya came out fast. He is determined to put hurt on Camacho in a hurry. And he hurt him later in the round again. We did not see Camacho doing what he said he would do, which would be to stand and fight and try to hurt De La Hoya.
Oscar De La Hoya did not sit down between rounds. Didn't even have a stool brought into the corner. That's quite unusual. We haven't seen it before. You'll note that George Foreman has done it throughout the latter part of his career. In the first round, Camacho, by CompuBox numbers, threw 60 punches and landed only 3. De La Hoya threw 52 punches. 48 of them were power shots. So he dispenses with the left jab from the beginning. This time, Camacho comes out a little more aggressively in round 2.
There's an old saying, when you build a house, you count the counts first. Camacho understood that he would be rattled and have some hard punches laid on his chin. But that goes in with the price of the house. He came right back, sticking his right jab out. A moment ago, you asked why would Macho taunt him. I remember hitting Muhammad Ali so hard, I knew it should have hurt. And after the round was over, he looked at me as if to say, ha ha, didn't get me. But when I sat down, I didn't laugh.
That was the first hard punch that I saw Camacho throwing, a left hand partially blocked by De La Hoya.
Emmanuel Stewart tells us from the De La Hoya corner that De La Hoya's decision not to sit down at the end of round 1 was an impulse, nothing pre-planned. He simply got back to the corner and said, I don't want a stool, I don't want to sit down.
Left uppercut sends Camacho flying again.
Well, when you're fighting a young fighter like De La Hoya, you want to make sure he starts doing a lot of things he ordinarily would not do. Don't sit on the stool, drop your hand, taunt, anything to make that young fella get out of his game plan. Macho is 35. These old warriors can think.
And it goes without saying that De La Hoya takes a certain chance if he expends a lot of energy in the first 2 or 3 rounds, swinging wildly in search of a knockout.
Not only that, he starts to hesitate by trying to land one good one like he did the first round. Before you know it, 5 rounds have gone by, and the Macho Mans get more confident.
De La Hoya wants to fight with fury. He said, no more chess matches with southpaws. I did too much of that with Whitaker. He doesn't want to be drawn into a tactical battle with Camacho. He wants to overwhelm him with power and intensity.
That's truly not the way to do it. You want to jab him with a big left hand, step back a little bit, and make Camacho commit himself. You don't want to be the thorough aggressor.
But why jab with a left hand against a guy who's just going to block it with his right?
It's not going to block it if you just go on and don't hesitate, just jab. Remember,
Camacho holding and the crowd responds.
The southpaw, if you stand in your position, it's an unorthodox position for him also.
Camacho doesn't run or grab quite as much as he used to, but it's hard to turn a gazelle into a lion.
You're giving him a little too much room. You're fighting exactly the fight that we don't want to fight, okay? You got to pick up your pace. You got to start working your jab. You're giving him a little too much room. That round could have went either way, to be honest with you, okay? You had to get pressure on him. You got to pick up the pace. Don't look for no one shot. Look like you're trying to set back, waiting on one big shot to catch him with. Just start putting them together the same way you was in training. See, waiting on one big shot is no good. Just start putting them together. Working your jab, working your jab. You got to pick up your pace on this guy. Otherwise, he's coasting right into the groove that he wants.
Let me tell you, he's starting to fold here a little bit. He's starting to do some amateur things. Keep your hands up, keep your head moving, and stay low. Okay, you make him work. Make him work. Make him work. You're doing it.
When you hear the corner telling Camacho to make Oscar work, I believe it's their belief that Oscar will get tired in the second half or the third of the fight if they can keep him busy.
Well, they believe his punch output drops in the latter stages of the 12-round fights, and they pointed out that it happened against Miguel Angel Gonzalez earlier this year. It wasn't necessarily the case against Whitaker, where the punch output dropped in the middle rounds, but then Oscar was able to rebuild his tempo in the later rounds.
Let me tell you, this is exactly the kind of fight De La Hoya didn't want to get into with Macho.
That's what Emmanuel Stewart told him between rounds. He didn't mince any words with the fighter.
And it's hard to control a young fighter. You tell him what to do, then the next time you demand that he go out and do what you say and stop fighting his own fight. Emmanuel Stewart wants De La Hoya, set it up with your left jab. Take your time. The punches will come. The jab is going to do all the harm. De La Hoya is not even paying any attention to a left jab at this point.
He's pawing with the jab. He's trying to land straight rights and left hooks.
Yeah, but meanwhile, George, I don't see Camacho landing anything.
But he's landing the most important thing, time. The more relaxed, the more time goes by, it turns into a show. And
Well,
that's what Camacho wants.
You can finish that way, but somehow you got to score at some point. So you're thinking that De La Hoya might run down enough that Camacho can score more in the latter stages of the fight?
Camacho is not interested in scoring this fight. He's going to let this guy get some of the steam out and start clocking him. He's as much interested in a knockout as De La Hoya is.
Punch or get out. Punch. Don't hold him.
Whenever you're able to land a jab against a taller opponent, nothing but confidence starts to happen.
Straight right hand lands for an uppercut, I should say, lands for De La Hoya.
And that hurt Camacho.
Round 3, and while Camacho may have gotten into De La Hoya's head, he still hasn't done a lot of damage with his gloves. De La Hoya landing solid shots here and there, finding it difficult, as was the case against Whitaker, to land combinations, but fighting more with ferocity.
Good body punches by De La Hoya.
Excellent.
That's what you want to do when you're fighting an old experienced fighter. You go down to his body to make sure you keep a lot of that steam out of him in the latter rounds.
Watch your head, don't hold him.
Yeah, I'm by no means an expert like you, George, but I'm not sure the left jab will work all that well. I think the body shots could build up a lot of capital for De La Hoya as the fight goes on.
Left jab always works. You just got to believe in it.
Camacho isn't putting the slightest dent into De La Hoya.
Just relax. Okay, you're fighting with one hand. You're fighting with your left hand. Let's let both hands start going now. Both hands go. When he gets close, you're going very defense. You're going defense. He's throwing a couple shots and you're parrying him. You blocked him 2 punches. When he's on tight on you, come back hard with both hands, Hector. You understand? He's coming to you. Let's use your experience. You've been there. Sucker this guy in. He wants to keep coming and leaping. Go to him.
Just suck it in, spit it out. Until you get fucking bumped.
Keep that pressure on him all the way.
The champion on the attack. A good left uppercut inside, a body shot.
And just missing short with the left hook. Once again, between rounds, De La Hoya refusing to sit down. He's only spent 40 seconds on the stool now out of an allotted 3 minutes.
He's just very excited, very determined that he wants to win this fight, put some hurt on Camacho. None of this was planned, obviously. He's just as eager as I've ever seen him, Jim.
Yep. Will that eagerness be a plus or a minus? We'll see as the fight develops.
All the pluses so far are for the champion. And all that Camacho is giving us is a lot of movement, pity-pat punches. He's giving us the illusion of fighting back. He really isn't fighting back.
In case you're interested in the content of some of Hector Camacho's constant bluster.
Good straight left hand by Camacho.
He said before the fight that he expected to stop De La Hoya in 4 rounds or less. Incidentally, De La Hoya wagered $200,000 against the chance to cut off Hector's forelock that he can win the fight.
Camacho is effectively using his straight right jab, and whenever he wants to, he's able to land that a straight right jab and throw that straight left hand. Good body punch.
Right-left combination by De La Hoya. Camacho leaps back in with a jab. Camacho trying to time his jab now to take advantage of De La Hoya's rhythm. He lands a left as he steps in.
Good.
Now De La Hoya uses the jab to set up a left to the body.
That Oscar De La Hoya has a lot of firepower, and whenever you got tactics like Camacho, that power seems to interfere. It makes you say, well, maybe I shouldn't do this, that, and the other. And look for Camacho's jab.
I think De La Hoya is always at his best when he remembers to punch to the body, and he's done that here in round 4.
Good straight left hand by Camacho again.
Camacho getting much more aggressive in this round.
You see De La Hoya take a backward step, and you're going to see a different fight.
Do you think Camacho believes at this point that he's tasted De La Hoya's power?
Not at all. He doesn't want to taste anymore, but I can tell you that. But you want a puncher to follow you around. You make him throw his empty out his bottle, fall into the rope, things of that nature. But you got to catch him when he misses.
De La Hoya getting better at cutting off the ring.
He's following Camacho around. He's just following him around. You don't want that.
Is that because of the eagerness?
Yeah, he's eager, and you can run right into a straight left hand. Once Camacho keep his feet on the outside of De La Hoya's left foot, he's going to run right into one of those hard straight lefts by Camacho.
Body shot by De La Hoya to punctuate round 4. 4 rounds in, and the battle has been joined by Camacho.
Remember, don't blow your nose.
How you feeling? Okay, just keep the same tempo going. A little bit more punches. You're not doing nothing wrong. We just got to keep a little bit more pressure on his ass, okay? And work your jab a little bit more. Keep working the jab. You're getting closer and closer to him each time as you're moving along, but work the jab just a little bit more. You're getting closer to him now. You're getting closer in where you start catching him. He's been in. Now, you gave your 7th round. This is the 4th round coming up.
Punches and combinations now. 2-3 punches at a time. It's that 2nd and 3rd punch is going to get him. You understand? Keep putting that pressure on him. Work that left hand. Bring the right hand. You rip a couple of those body shots, you'll catch him with that hook. Make him fight.
Emmanuel Stewart, this is the 5th round.
Camacho's trainer, Pat Burns, was a member of the Olympic training staff back in 1992 and has worked a lot with De La Hoya in the gym. He says that as a result of that, he knows De La Hoya's weaknesses. Oscar says, sure he does.
Harold Letterman, your score after 4 rounds.
Larry, so far I've got it 40-36, 4 rounds to nothing. Oscar De La Hoya. I just think Oscar's hitting him too hard, and Hector hasn't impressed me with any power shots yet. But I'll tell you something. I think George Foreman said it. Oscar De La Hoya doesn't cut that ring off. This kid's running, and Oscar's making the mistake of chasing him. He should take that step to the side, cut that ring off, and whack him with a good left hook.
Well, meanwhile, he's won all 4 rounds on both of our cards.
Uppercut by De La Hoya, straight right hand inside by Camacho.
Camacho really want to land that straight left hand, but his foot is always on the inside of De La Hoya's left foot. Got to get it on the outside to get it. Misses by inches because of the position of his feet.
left hook for De La Hoya, and another straight right hand. Camacho backing away. Straight right hand and a left hook land again for De La Hoya.
And let me tell you, that hurt Camacho.
He took a hell of a punch there, George.
De La Hoya dominating the 5th round with blistering power punches. And this straight right left hook combination is working for him in a way that we never saw it work against the other southpaw, Whitaker.
Camacho is intending to make De La Hoya pay for these shots, and that could be a big mistake. He's not putting his foot on the outside of De La Hoya's left foot, and he's standing too close.
George, he's never wanted to commit to his punches because he doesn't want the incoming unless he's absolutely sure it won't be there. And he knows that there's going to be incoming from De La Hoya.
This 5th round, a perfect illustration of the problem that faces Camacho. He just sustains too much thunder from De La Hoya if he goes in close and gives himself a chance to land.
Yeah, everything that De La Hoya throws hurts. But you got to take some chances. You really got to step up and take a chance or two.
Well, when Camacho lost 12-round decisions to Julio Cesar Chavez and Felix Trinidad, his critics say that in the closing rounds of those fights, he didn't risk anything trying to win. He was satisfied to finish. He says it won't be that way tonight.
Give me that water. Give me the water. Wash his mouth out. Deep breath. Deep breath. Hector, stop bringing the uppercuts. He's dropping down. Every time you throw the left hand, he's dropping down. You might even want to feint it, bring the left hand up when he dives underneath it, okay?
It's the 6th round coming up. I can't believe it's the 6th round.
Look at Oscar. Come here. Oscar.
Peter, so you're taking his left punch away from him, which is strictly only his left hand anyway. You're taking that away from him, so just keep the pressure on him. That's the only shot that he's got.
You saw the connect percentage at 15% for Camacho. Camacho ain't going to beat anybody, landing 15% of his punches. De La Hoya not up as high as he's been when fighting against conventional fighters, but doing better tonight than he did against the previous 2 southpaws, Jimmy Friedel and Perdell Whitaker.
Remember, beating Oscar De La Hoya is getting past 7 rounds. Then you can step up your attack. This guy is too powerful in the first 5 or 6 rounds. Now Camacho is sustaining a little jabs here and there.
Well, Camacho isn't fighting a 40-year-old or a 45-year-old guy now. Fighting a real fighter, a live fighter, a terrific young fighter.
And the trouble is, once you're 6 or 7 rounds down, you got to go for a knockout. He's not exactly a knockout puncher.
Good gracious.
Yeah, that's thunder. That is big stuff. The left hook was a monster.
Well, it's because Camacho was standing around looking at things.
It's because Camacho doesn't want to fight back, George.
Body shots by De La Hoya, ripping Camacho up. 1 minute into the 6th.
Good punch by Camacho.
Best punch of the fight for Hector Camacho momentarily stopped De La Hoya in his tracks.
I think the problem Camacho is having is that he just does not want to give way to De La Hoya. If he'd be his old self and stay out of the way, De La Hoya would not have landed so many punches, the punches that he's landed so far. He does not want to give this kid any confidence.
Well, he's 35 years old, George. He can't fight the way he used to.
He doesn't need to fight the way he used to now. He needs to get in there and punch. 35 years is the best age for a boxer.
De La Hoya landing at a very high percentage in this round, and it's all heavy stuff, although he's brought the jab back out a couple times. And there it is, using the jab tactically now, because he's able to land it over Camacho's dropping right hand.
Camacho looks to block the jab with his right, and so De La Hoya is just looping the hook right around it.
Oscar also occasionally leading to the body and he's been able to land flush with most of those. Uppercut, backs Camacho all the way back to the ropes.
Camacho is thinking, this guy can't hit this hard. I know he can't.
Yeah, but that's what they all think.
Yeah, but you can't believe it, but it's actually there.
Left to the body, right cross inside. This is a textbook round for Oscar De La Hoya, with the exception of that one hard left by Camacho.
Now De La Hoya is starting to follow Camacho around with his right hand down.
Hector Camacho may talk the talk. He hasn't walked the walk.
That's the daddy to the father of the fight.
Oscar De La Hoya's dad at ringside. The man who groomed him as a fighter early on. And just to Joel's right, you saw the silver-haired gentleman, De La Hoya's close personal advisor, Mike Hernandez.
You don't see that. In fact, all of your combinations are working. And what he's doing the same shit as Ricky now. He's pulling straight out. Catch him on the tail end. You understand?
Relax.
When he finishes up with everything, he's pulling straight out. Just keep leaping right to his ass, okay?
Oscar De La Hoya is just giving a beating to Camacho here. A right high on the head, a left flush on the jaw, and then to the body. Very few fighters have been able to do this to Camacho.
Practically nobody. In the 6th round, De La Hoya landed 32 power shots. Those are crosses, hooks, and uppercuts. And Camacho landed 3. And now the tape is loose on Hector Camacho's glove. So Richard Steele creates a momentary stoppage. This fight looks a little bit, statistically, like the Felix Trinidad fight for Camacho. He landed under 20% against Trinidad. He's landing under 20% again tonight against De La Hoya.
You can cut that and rewrap it.
Ice in the corner of the ring.
Are they trying to buy some time for Camacho here?
Whether they were trying or not, they got it. Extra time for Camacho. De La Hoya pacing angrily and anxiously in a neutral corner, and now we go back to work.
Keep him up, keep him up.
Past the midway point of the bout. Round 7 of a scheduled 12. It's been all De La Hoya so far.
Right.
Camacho tasted the knockout with Sugar Leonard, and believe me, he's standing close because he believes he can knock Camacho down. De La Hoya down. Good sort of a cross left hand by Camacho. You see he's missing by inches only because of the position of his right foot.
George, he's never fought like this through most of his career.
He really wants to win.
So I don't know that he knows even how to fight at close quarters effectively.
You talk about this guy's past, but he has a 19-year-old son. He's got a whole refueled family behind him now. Camacho really wants to win this thing, and he wants it bad.
Well, if that's the case, he's dug himself a big hole on the scorecards. Unable to handle De La Hoya in the first 6 rounds, you would have to assume that Camacho has fallen well behind. But as George tells you, he believes Hector is thinking knockout.
Well, this is the round that De La Hoya predicted that he would knock Camacho out by, but he's finding, just like every other top fighter who has fought Camacho, that's very, very difficult to do.
Knocking him out is not an easy proposition.
Come on, guys, let's punch, let's work.
Never been knocked out, and hey, let's give him some credit for a beard. He's taking big shots here tonight.
Boy, he's taking some punches.
Took huge shots from Edwin Rosario back in 1986. Didn't go down. Been in against big punchers since then, like Trinidad. There's a big left hand. Big left hand by De La Hoya. Flush. And a lot of De La Hoya opponents have gone to sleep on that punch. But not Camacho.
And Camacho is not running. He's standing close as if to say, I'll take another. Good uppercut, left uppercut.
Great combination, uppercut, hook by De La Hoya. Just busted blasting through Camacho's guard. There were people after the Miguel Angel Gonzalez fight and the Whitaker fight who were suggesting, well, maybe Oscar isn't that big a puncher after all at 147. But tonight, he looks as though he's regained the power that made him such a force at 130, 135, and 140.
Because he's got his original trainer back into his corner.
Robert Alcazar.
That's right.
Okay, we got 5 rounds to go, okay? There ain't no bullshitting around. You want this title, you got to go after this son of a bitch, you understand? You got to go after him, and you got to fight him. You get in there and you work both hands. You're not going to win a decision. It's going to have to be a dogfight. You need to throw hard punches, and you got to throw them sharp and short, okay? Let them go. You take it to another level, okay? Work both hands, get inside, start working up.
What is it, 8th round coming up already? He's right by the 7th. Put the shots together a little bit faster, but put some more power into him. You get a good stream to going, and then you take a little break and you let him have a vacation.
This fight is turning into a one-sided massacre. De La Hoya doing all of the damage with his left hand primarily.
Seconds out!
Let's see if Camacho can follow orders from his trainer Patrick Burns and whether he really wants to win.
Little swelling around the left eye of De La Hoya. Camacho looks
straight left hand by.
Yep, that was a great punch by Camacho, the straight left.
Harold, we have 7 rounds. How do you have them?
Larry, so far not so terribly difficult to score. 70-63, 7-0, Oscar De La Hoya. He's landed all the power shots. Hector Camacho certainly has a big heart, takes a great punch, but that doesn't count to the scoring. This fight is all De La Hoya. Effective aggressiveness, hard punching, ring generalship, everything. It's all De La Hoya.
De La Hoya fights as though he doesn't believe there's any chance Camacho could hurt him, George.
Yeah, he's not conserving his punches.
Right.
He's not concerned about his conditioning in the latter round. He's going all out.
He looks like Mark McGuire at a T-ball competition, just swinging away.
Camacho should understand that he's been taken care of as long as he keeps the fight close. Don't give this guy too much range to throw those powerful punches.
Camacho starting to keep his elbows closer to his body as a result of the body punishment De La Hoya has been meting out. If Oscar keeps going to the body, he might find another chance to clean Hector up upstairs with one of those massive shots.
Good body punch by De La Hoya.
Yep, that's
This round punches.
Flapping. The pheasant is dead, but he doesn't know it yet. And that's Hector Camacho right now.
So will Camacho back up and try to survive, or will he stick with his plan to try to win the fight, shortening the distance as he's doing now?
Got some heart because I don't know what he's doing on his feet, but it's all Oscar De La Hoya.
The whole break.
Little bump on the bridge of De La Hoya's nose now. But obviously he's oblivious to all that.
Miney and Mo and 1 or 2 guys who are 40 or 50 and go and tell the world I got an 8
round. Camacho only throwing 139 crosses, hooks, and uppercuts. De La Hoya throwing nearly 700.